What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boxing Clinic, hitting y'all ass up with another video. And yes, I've been taking break, hiatus, time off, but I popped my head in to do a nice little lengthy video, basically because it was on my mind, and I've been in multiple altercations on boxing threads when I've been making my way on my personal page, on boxing threads and such of that nature and things like that. And I got into a couple of arguments about this situation, a couple of debates. I rather say dark arguments get a little deeper, and I'm gonna continue to take a little hiatus off. I might not even pop my head in fully back into the game until around the Anthony Joshua Vladimir Klitschko fight. Might do a little sooner, but just giving the page some rest and some time and some catching up on some things. But to the topic of discussion, man, who's better, Danny Jacobs overall or Jermall Charlo? Now, people their natural instinct or their natural response would be Danny Jacobs because he looked very good against Gennady Golovkin, and it's a persona painted out there that Golovkin is indestructible, unbeatable, power punching, granite chin fighter, and that's just not true. Have people ever thought, and I'm trying to get this across people's minds when I do in these debates, have you ever thought that maybe Golovkin never was that good? Like I said, I've indicted his resume plenty of times, so I'm really not going to spend much time on him as well. But he hasn't fought anybody, period, until Danny Jacobs. That's his best fight. That's his best fight. And really, Daniel Jacobs was his barometer to see where he was as a pro. And in my opinion, I thought he lost by a point. That's just my opinion. Most people thought he was going to blow Jacobs out in a few rounds. And I think Jacobs gained a lot of kudos and cool points, take it back to the 90s, amongst people. And now people are overrating him because they rated Gennady Golovkin so high. But the person that they're overrating is really Gennady Golovkin. He's not that good. For Daniel Jacobs to be the best opponent that he has ever faced is saying something about his resume, because Daniel Jacobs is a guy who got knocked down by Sergio Mora, and got knocked out by Pirard, very easily, and got beat very badly. It is what it is, man. When we talk about Jermall Charlo, this is a dude who turned pro at 18, was moved very slowly. His brother was moved faster than he was, and I presume that Jermall Charlo was the better Charlo of the bunch. But it seems like Jermall Charlo has separated himself from that trio of Ersan Dillar and his brother Jermall Charlo to be the best out of that bunch who still trains with Ronnie Shields. His brother trains with Derrick James, Earl Smith's trainer. And I don't think people know how physically big this guy is. They have him listed at 6 foot. Listen to Derrick James and a couple other guys talk about him. He's really like 6'2", very long. And he can do some things in the ring that you can't teach. And you could see that he's pretty much really the most balanced one out of that Ronnie Shields trio at that point in time, even though, Jermall trains with Derrick James. Ersan Dillar is a slick counter puncher. His brother is a nice boxer puncher. He's like right in the middle between that. Like, he took both of those guys' style and really meshed it up nicely. He's a guy who's very offensive minded, who's very confident in the ring, and he could punch, man. I had a guy tell me today that Daniel Jacobs, was a better puncher, but who did Daniel Jacobs truly knock out? I'll get into that point in a minute, and people pointed out, well, he didn't knock out Austin Trout, but neither did Ersan Dillar, and neither did Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Trout is a good veteran, but you really can't really compare power by common opponents sometimes. Each guy feels different on each day, feels stronger, depending on how the camp went, and different things like that, and vice versa for the other guy. Other guy said as well. But this is a guy who's only 26 years old with Daniel Jacobs, and he's in his 30s, early 30s, I think. This guy, he hasn't even reached his physical peak, and let him tell it. With the eyesight, with the laser eye vision surgery he had, he became a lot better after that. And he said he was killing himself to really make 154 pounds and 160. He should be a lot more healthier as well, I think, as Canelo will as well. Just throwing that in there. And he's going to get a lot stronger at that weight class. He might punch a little harder. He might have a little bit more energy. He might be physically stronger. And Derrick James actually said, he doesn't even train as Charlo, that, he can see him having the frame to move up to as far as light heavyweight. And, I wouldn't believe it, but I seen him fight Jermall Charlo. He looked 2 weight classes bigger than him in sparring. And he really was holding his own. This is about 5 years ago. They sparred at least, probably even farther than that along. But, Daniel Jacobs, man, you look at his best wins, Peter Quillin, and Sergio Mora. And he had a good fight with Gennady Golovkin, how he scored it. But he been in the game for longer than Jermall Charlo. You know what I mean? And Charlo's best wins is over an old K9, which he did what he had to do and knocked him out. He's a 2-time or 3-time former world titleist himself. And Sergio Mora was a former world titleist at 154. He beat Austin Trout. And in my opinion, Austin Trout has the best win out of the bunch. Whoever Daniel Jacobs beat, Peter Quillin best win. Probably over Gabriel Rosado, Fernando Guerrero. He beat Jesse Brinkley. He draw with Andy Lee. He got knocked out by Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs' best win is Peter Quillin. But Austin Trout best win is versus Miguel Cotto, a legend. But nobody thought he was going to win that fight. He outpointed Miguel Cotto. And that's a better win than anybody on Daniel Jacobs' resume, including Gennady Golovkin. He doesn't have a Miguel Cotto, a surefire Hall of Famer on his resume. I'm not trying to say that's on Jermall Charlo's resume as well. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that he beat a guy on that type of level, at his peak. I'm not saying Trout was on that peak when he fought him, but if you're talking about resumes, you break it down that way. Then he beat Julian Williams, who looked indestructible at junior middleweight at times, and there was rumors that he was ducking him and trying to prolong that fight and asking for more money than what it was worth. He goes out there and knocked the guy out in 4 or 5 rounds with no problem. A nice up-and-comer, who gave the young dude Benavidez, I can't remember his name, all the problems in the world, and he was supposed to be one of the surefire prospects in the division. As far as skill-wise, I think Daniel Jacobs peaked out. He's a dude that's been on the floor, knocked out before by Buzzhawg, fights good punchers. And Jermall Charlo, I can't really tell you about his chin, but it's looked sturdy up to this point. He's a more nasty, grittier, he's a more surely confident type fighter. And if he was to fight Gennady Golovkin, I think it could work for him, work against him. He's not going to be as timid as Danny Jacobs. He's a more aggressive style fighter, and he's a better, slicker fighter than Daniel Jacobs. He's a naturally more slicker fighter, a better counter puncher, a better puncher in my opinion at 154 pounds. Daniel Jacobs really never knocked out anybody, in my opinion, that was worth the damn besides Peter Quillin. He's a dude that got a late start. But Jermall Charlo is 26 years old and still on the uptrend, He's still getting better. Daniel Jacobs, we've seen the best in him already. He's not going to get any better than what he is now. And like Jermall Charlo, I like his skill set a lot better. And it's just about gaining experience now against top-notch fighters, which Danny Jacobs haven't had a lot of experience until recently in the Buzzhawg fight, fighting upper echelon type of fighters himself. And it's just my opinion. I like Jermall Charlo to be the better fighter now.